Alright folks, today we're diving into something that every adventurer needs but hardly anyone talks about. Rations. You know those packs of food you casually mark off from your inventory without a second thought? But have you ever stopped to wonder what's actually in those packets? Let's chew on that for a bit. Now the player's handbook tells us that rations consist of dry foods suitable for extended travel. We're talking jerky, dried fruit, hardtack, and nuts. Sounds pretty standard, right? But hold on, let's break this down a bit. First up, jerky. It's not just any snack you grab from a gas station. This stuff could be anything from the classic beef to, I don't know, dragon flank. Could you imagine chomping on dragon jerky? I've had gator and that stuff is hard to chew. Next we've got dried fruit, but forget your typical apple slices and banana chips. In a fantasy world, we could be talking about sun-dried pixie pears or maybe even slices of moon melon, who knows. And hardtack, the survival bread. It's the unsung hero of the adventurer's diet. It's the stuff that lasts longer than most empires. That's because hardtack is simply flour and water, baked into a rock-hard biscuit. It might sound bland, but think about it. In the ancient world, hardtack was necessary for survival on long journeys. It was the go-to choice for sailors, soldiers, and explorers. Without refrigeration or preservatives, they needed something that could withstand months, even years of travel. Hardtack was their lifeline. Now, let's not glamorize it too much. Eating hardtack was no picnic. It was so hard that sailors often had to soak it in water or broth just to make it edible. Sometimes it got infested with weevils, but hey, extra protein, right? Finally, nuts, often overlooked but crucial. In both fantasy and reality, nuts have been a reliable source of energy, high in calories, proteins, and fats. They're the perfect travel snack, whether it's almonds or walnuts or some fantastical nut from a mystical tree. They provide that much-needed energy boost for your journey. But remember, all of this is all the food your adventurer eats in a day. In pure calories, this might not seem like a lot, but let's put it into perspective. When you're out there battling orcs, negotiating with dragons, or even delving into ancient ruins, your body is burning through energy like crazy, and that's where the efficiency of these rations really shines. Nuts, for instance, are incredibly calorie dense. Just a handful can pack a couple hundred calories along with essential fats and proteins to keep you going. Now, mix in that hardtack, a slow burning carb, giving you that steady energy supply, and you've got a solid foundation. The jerky, that's your protein power up. It's not just filling, it's muscle maintenance for those long sword fights and dungeon crawls. And then the dried fruit comes in with a quick sugar rush, a burst of energy to get you through that final push against that goblin horde or what have you. So when you tally it up, a day's ration is carefully balanced to sustain an active adventurer. Sure, it's not a 5-course meal, but in the world of D&D, where every item in your pack counts, it's about packing the most energy into the smallest, most durable package. Jerky is calorie dense with approximately 69 calories per ounce. A day's ration of jerky could be around 2 ounces, providing about 138 calories. Dried fruit is also calorie dense with roughly 300 to 350 calories per 100 grams. Let's assume a day's ration includes 100 grams of dried fruit, providing about 350 calories. Hardtack is primarily made of flour and water, and it's quite calorie dense due to its compact nature. One piece of hardtack can contain around 50 to 75 calories. Assuming a day's ration includes 4 pieces, that's about 200 to 300 calories. Nuts are also calorie dense. A small handful of mixed nuts, about 28 grams, can contain anywhere from 160 to 200 calories or more. So let's assume a day's ration includes a generous handful, providing about 200 calories. When you add it all up, a typical day's ration can provide 800 to 1,000 calories. Keep in mind that these are rough estimates. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a powerful arcane practitioner and keeper of ancient histories. However, that leads to the next question. How many calories is an adventurer burning, and is this day's ration enough? Would our heroes be the beefy hotcakes we like to imagine, or would they be lanky like teenage Hercules? Adventurers are not your average folks. They're out there battling fierce creatures, traversing treacherous terrains, and facing life or death situations regularly. All of this action requires a significant amount of energy. I'm no expert in metabolism, but I can tell you that the calorie burn rate for adventurers varies widely depending on their activities. From intense sword fights to long distance travels, adventurers are constantly on the move, and that burns calories like crazy. Now, the average daily calorie intake for a sedentary adult is around 2,000 to 2,500 calories. That's for someone who's not swinging a battle axe or scaling castle walls. Adventurers, on the other hand, are far from sedentary. They're like marathon runners of the fantasy world, except with more running for your life for monsters and fewer energy supplements. It's safe to say that they'd need more calories to keep their heroic exploits going. With all of that, we can estimate how much an adventurer burns in a day. And it's quite a lot. Depending on the intensity of their activities, adventurers might burn anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 calories or more per day. That's like running multiple marathons while solving riddles, battling mythical creatures, and deciphering ancient scrolls. So while a day's ration of 800 to 1,000 calories might provide a decent foundation, it's clear that adventurers need way more to supplement their diet to maintain their peak performance. That's where the loot comes in handy. The hearty meals they enjoy in the comfort of a tavern, or the magical items that provide sustenance on long journeys. After all, the ration is meant to be used in a tough situation or in the short term, not as a forever deal. But rations remain an essential part of an adventurer's toolkit. They're the reliable backup, the emergency snack, and the assurance that even in the darkest dungeon, they won't go hungry. So when you hear tales of legendary heroes and their epic quests, remember that behind those tales, there's a trail of empty ration packs, fueling the adventures of those who dare to dream and make the sacrifice by biting into rock-hard bread and eating shitty berries. So there you have it, a deep dive into the daily rations. If you think I missed something, leave it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. As always, forge on, my friends, and we'll see you next time, adventurers. And if you were on the lookout for Tobias, here's a quick shout out for those from the last video. Thank you, Mike Chaos. Thank you, Silly Syrup. Thanks for the love. Crispy Joking Tuna 1495 said hi, Tobias. Well, Tobias says hi back. And Elemental Yarn, I love that name, says don't mind me just saying hi to Tobias. Well, Tobias said hello too. Thanks again, adventurers. Make sure to leave a timestamp of where you saw Tobias in our videos, and you might be the lucky one that gets shouted out in the next one.